I'm going to show you everything you need to know about the Nucleus M II. The good, the bad, the ugly, and most important, some quirks you'll definitely want to know about. But first, let's start with the good stuff. So guys, what do you think about the new Nucleus, huh?
Well, that thing is incredible.
This is so crazy. So you can pull focus with it.
It's exciting to see the system evolve, especially because the original Nucleus has been a go-to on so many sets for the past 8 years. It really filled a gap, something reliable, packed with features, and way more affordable than high-end systems like the RS3, which can cost more than most cameras. That balance between price and capability is what made it so popular and the stakes so high for this new Nucleus M II. Let's get the specs out of the way. You now get two completely new motors, each offering up to 0.48 Nm of torque with built-in wireless receivers, and they are a lot smaller than the old ones, which is appreciated. The new algorithm promises a 0.02 second response time. In practice, it's fast. Another big update is the 4-channel control system. You now can assign the 4th channel to camera functions like internal NDs, ISO, white balance, or even external NDs with your Tilta Mirage matte box. You can now store up to 128 lens profiles. And here's the clever part we discovered. For vintage lenses, which are usually a nightmare to measure, you can first measure your close and infinity points, then easily go back and fill in all the intermediate distances. This lets you map all the lenses from a single position before moving to the next. That is much easier than constantly moving your tripod. For professional cine lenses, you can simply copy their printed accurate markings, of course. A big usability upgrade is they switched to Sony NP-F batteries for power both of the hand unit and the hand grips. And this is a clear improvement over the original Nucleus M, whose hand grips used these batteries. NP-F batteries are practically everywhere in filmmaking, so much easier to handle. Oh, and power loss protection is pretty cool. It ensures a set mark point or range memory setting are retained even after unexpected power loss, which of course, if you're a professional, never happens to you. It happens a lot. The Nucleus M II plays well with the first generation Nucleus M and even the smaller Nucleus Nano motors. So thank you, Tilta, for not making us throw away all the old stuff. Now let's get into the new Fizz hand unit, which doesn't just look better, it's significantly smarter. The touchscreen provides quick access to all critical settings, and electronic focus marks finally replace tape and Sharpies. A cool design feature is that the electronic disc is detachable, allowing you to revert to your old physical focus marks if needed. It's the best compromise between digital convenience and that good old tactile feeling. Kind of loving this. Now a big bummer. My most anticipated feature is actually not working at all right now. I'm talking the wireless camera control. You should be able to adjust ISO, shutter, white balance and trigger recording. This is the only one that works. All directly from the hand unit. And Tilta promotes compatibility with cameras like the Sony FX3 and with firmware update the Sony BURANO via USB-C. But, and this is a big but, currently, the remote control function for the Sony FX3 via cable doesn't fully work because there's no cable yet for the multiport. You can't adjust settings or trigger recording. This is unfortunately a reoccurring theme with Tilta, promoting features that aren't quite fully baked yet. I really hope they update this soon so we can use the system to its full potential. I had the same problem with the Nucleus Nano too. I can't get this to work up to this point with my FX3. In contrast though, with the Blackmagic Pixis camera, it works very well via Bluetooth, allowing full setting adjustment and recording, fingers crossed for Sony, and yeah, explains why everyone is testing the Nucleus with the Pixis. For shoulder mounted shooting, these hand grips are pretty nice. We know them from the first iteration, but now they are a little bit improved. And with these, I could effortlessly control focus and other lens adjustments, keeping both hands firmly on the camera. My AC could simultaneously manage settings remotely using the hand unit with the handoff feature. And this genuinely is a smart design and includes a joystick for zoom or ND adjustment with a lock feature. The rest, as far as I can tell, is very much the same as on the old hand grips. I found for very critical focus, especially on small details, up close, the hand grips aren't as precise or easy to operate as, for example, the Nucleus Nano. Sometimes hitting the perfect focus mark can be a bit of a dance, but the hand grips greatly improve your stability, so I guess you pick your poison. And pairing, finally simple? I mean, kind of yes, but also no. The introduction of EZ mode significantly simplifies automatic connection of all devices to the same channel. That helps a lot, but still we had to fight it a bit, changing the motors from the Nucleus Nano to the hand unit and to the grips. The excuse would be typically you do that only once for a shoot as you build your camera setup, but still it's not flawless, but I think you can work around this pretty easily and it's much better than on the first iteration. The hand wheel features adjustable tension, which is very nice to see because every focus puller has a preference. Now, Tilta, please don't listen. I actually like the feeling of the Nucleus Nano wheel better. But still, it's amazing that you have this tension adjustment and everyone will find their own preference on this one.
Ich fand's ziemlich geil, muss ich sagen.
What's pretty cool, the hand wheel can be moved from side to side. For all the lefties out there, that's, pretty nice. And although... it's like here. Okay. Sorry. For all the lefties out there and weird people who pull focus with their left hand while being right-handed. So you can, change sides. And that's pretty straightforward. Beyond camera control, the motor performance itself is crucial. Torque-wise, even stiff vintage cinema primes weren't an issue, and here's the genius. You can individually adjust the torque for each motor, which is kind of glorious, because I have already destroyed very expensive vintage lenses with the original Nucleus motors and really don't want to do this again. DJI users benefit greatly. The system directly integrates with DJI RS gimbals via Tilta's remote control receiver module. Even more exciting, if you're using DJI's hybrid monitor and their wireless transmission system, you can connect and control Tilta motors using your DJI transmission signal. It's just lovely to see these companies working together. Could we please have more of that? And here's a video that shows this pretty nicely where they try this out. Unfortunately, I don't have the DJI monitor. But speaking of DJI, compared to the Focus Pro system, which is ideal for solo operators who occasionally use an AC, the Tilta Nucleus-M II is much better for larger crews and complicated setups. While DJI offers user-friendly simplicity and, most importantly, the lighter autofocus, Tilta provides more advanced control options and scalability with the M2, and it bridges the gap between affordability and premium performance. It offers features way out of its price league, and this is kind of nice to see, and it's hard to compare to something else. Now let's talk about the not so great. During our testing, we incurred a few areas where the Nucleus M II isn't quite perfect. And the first one would be this little fella here. I noticed that the hand grips felt a little bit quirky, mainly because of this new touch zoom control. It gives me zero tactile feedback, and I'm sure muscle memory will kick in after a few days, but right now it's just a little bit awkward to just press against something completely stiff. When trying to combine different Tilta controllers, if you connect the Nucleus Nano 2 hand unit simultaneously with the M2 to one motor, the handoff doesn't really work, which is a shame. Ideally, it should function like with the existing Tilta hand grips, where you can just seamlessly hand off control and override the main fizz unit. In this case, if both devices are connected to the same motor but are set to different distance ranges, they can actually override each other's commands, and this is causing the motors to jump erratically. This isn't just an annoyance. In the worst case scenario, it could potentially damage your lens, so you have to be very careful with that. And the only thing that helps to restore the connection is to just unplug the motor and then plug it in again. Even when the connection appears active, turning the focus wheel on the Nano 2 sometimes changes nothing and the motor doesn't react after it's lost the connection once. It's a very strange problem that is caused by the Nucleus Nano, but still I hope will be fixed at some point. And then there is a similar problem occurring when you try to connect two M2 hand grips to the same motor, which is much more problematic because that's a closed system. While my idea was to have the flexibility to pull focus from both sides of the camera in a specific setup, this unfortunately leads to the same motor jumping issue. This isn't currently possible and there's no safety mechanism for DPs having strange ideas for their rigs. It should at least just turn itself off instead of whacking my lens around. I'm really hoping Tilta continues to work on this feature in a future software update. But right now, just don't connect two hand grips to the same motor. And then there's a specific issue with the hand grips. If a hand grip is set to a different torque setting than the main fizz unit, you'll get an error message and the system stops functioning.
Hand grip is calibrated to like 10% torque, but these old lenses need a little bit more because of the crooked gears and the mat box that is hanging onto it. The motor is too underpowered for the lens. Now we got it. And
the only solution is to unplug the motor. This is a minor but kind of frustrating quirk that cost us a lot of time to figure out. You get an error message, but we couldn't figure out what it is. Regardless of all my criticism, if you're needing maximum flexibility or running larger demanding sets, this is currently the best follow focus system for its money. It does more than its predecessor, fixes issues like calibration loss and complex menus, and genuinely, it is really fun to work with. Even though I made it seem like it's only problematic, but actually it works pretty nicely. Owners of the original M don't necessarily need to upgrade immediately, unless the additional speed, the fourth channel for ND, and improved usability justify it. But for newcomers or those upgrading from much simpler systems, it's a fantastic choice. Plus, let's admit it, it looks and feels amazing. So while I'm waiting for some features to come into play, I can absolutely recommend the M2. It's no sponsorship, no affiliate links, just my opinion. I think that becomes clear with all the criticism, but I think it's important to let you know about the quirks of systems like this. So, quick question before we wrap. If you could adjust one extra function to the wireless follow focus, what would it be? Write your wish in the comments. Maybe Tilta is listening, and hopefully not, because they will never work with me again. Nah, they're cool. They're cool. I have everything from Tilta. My Burano is fully rigged in Tilta. My FX3 was Tilta. Now a small rig is a little bit better. But yeah, I have so much love for your Tilta, and I have so much love for this. Now, thanks for hanging out. Hit the subscribe and the like button, and yeah, catch you in the next one.